I think the best way to start is with some emails that arrive before the game does. Before Niko Bellic ever sets foot in Liberty City, his cousin Roman, who went to America and caught a glimpse of the American dream, has been writing to him for years. Those emails Roman sent are basically an itemized receipt of his success.
Sports cars, condos, women, money, the beach, opportunity.
Roman is this Mr. Big out in America and he wants Niko to come see it too. So Niko crosses an ocean. And you already know what he finds. A drunk man and a beat up cab. A filthy apartment in Hove Beach with cockroaches. A failing taxi depot, and a pilot dead to a loan shark.
That's what sharks do. That's a fine tradition. What's the matter with you?
Niko asks where the mansion is, and watch what happens over the next 2 minutes of that scene though. Because I personally think it's one of the most sophisticated things in this entire game, and almost nobody talks about it. Roman doesn't deny anything. Niko calls him out and Roman just agrees, cheerfully. He cops to the whole thing and treats his own sales pitch as this personal talent he's a little bit proud of.
Okay, I'm an idiot, but you must admit, I have the best line in bullshit you ever heard.
Yeah, this I know, asshole.
There's no shame in it, and there's no attempt to cover anything. In the same conversation, having just admitted every word was invented, he keeps selling. The mansion is still coming, that's the dream. He gets caught, he confesses, and pivots straight back to the pitch without pausing. Roman isn't actually a fraud though. Look at what he says about himself when he's being honest. He came to America with nothing, and he doesn't want to take over the world. He just wants to do okay, and he thinks with one good guy beside him who he can trust, he could do that. That ratty apartment and that failing depot are things he fought for. In a small, unglamorous way, but he still fought for them. Roman did the thing. He arrived with nothing and he built something. He just can't describe it accurately, even to himself, even while apologizing for not describing it accurately. So who lied to Niko Bellic? There's a French philosopher who explains all of this, and the reason I wanted to make this video is that he explains it better than the standard reading of GTA 4 does. This is Louis Althusser, French Marxist philosopher, writing through the 60s and 70s. One can say he played a very big part in the development of neo-Marxism. In 1970, he publishes an essay on ideology that I think is probably one of the most useful things anyone has ever written about why people keep participating in systems that are grinding them down. Personally speaking, that book is one of the books that I keep going back to. It's been years since I first read it. It was back in high school, and I still find something new in it every time. Althusser's opening move is to take away the version of ideology you already have. Most people hear that word and think, a false belief, a lie, a propaganda. Somebody got deceived and somebody deceived someone, and if you got better information, you'd snap out of it, The whole red pill, blue pill thing in the Matrix, basically. Well, if you think that's what ideology is, I have some bad news for you, Chief. Althusser says that picture is wrong, and holding it makes you useless against the real thing. See, according to Althusser, ideology isn't a set of false statements. It's an imaginary relationship to your real conditions. Lucky for us, the American dream is a textbook case. So let's use that to understand what ideology really is. The real conditions are things like, rent going up. The job doesn't cover the rent. The job market is shitty, and most people above you were born above you. These are all true, all verifiable. Nobody is lying to you about any of that. What the ideology supports, though, is your relationship to those facts. It tells you you're not stuck, you're early. You're a striver partway through a story that goes upward, and everyone has to pay their dues. Same conditions, completely different positions, though. Which is exactly Roman. The roaches in his apartment are real, the debt is real, his shitty cab depot is real. But the relationship he has with all of those is temporary. And that is exactly what you and I can be totally cynical about the American dream and still get up at 6 a.m. and go to our day jobs. See, knowing that the ideology is a story doesn't dissolve the story. That's the piece that everybody misses. So Althusser asks the useful question: how does this ideology even get into a person's mind? What's the mechanisms? For that, Althusser explains a very simple situation. Imagine you're walking down the street. A police officer behind you shouts, "Hey, you there!" You turn around. That's it. In that turn, that 180 degrees, you just became a subject. You recognize yourself as the one being who is being addressed. No one argued with you. You just responded, and in responding, accepted the position of a subject. He calls this interpellation. Something calls, you turn, and now you're the person who turns. And the turn feels like recognition, like, yes, that's me, but it's actually misrecognition. Why is that? Because you're not recognizing a self that was already there. You're being made into one by answering. In this shit show called ideology, there is no unhailed place to stand, no position outside where you could see clearly and choose freely. Which means there's no room in this picture for a liar, because a liar would have to be outside the thing he's telling you. Roman isn't outside. He's the most inside person in the game. Now that you know how the subject is created, let me blow your mind with something even better. In GTA 4, there was a design change that people thought was cool and modern. You see, in every GTA before this one, you got missions by going somewhere. A marker on the map, a letter floating in air. You drive to it, you walk into it, cutscene starts, mission takes place, right? Here, the missions come to you. The phone rings, someone says your name, you pick up. That's not an interface tweak. That's the whole relationship between you and the GTA world. Just flipped over. You're no longer a person who goes out and finds work. You're a person who gets called and turns into the subject we just talked about. And every relationship Niko has runs through that medium. The organizations he works for stay in contact through calls and texts, the jobs, the friendships, Kate, Roman, texting you endlessly about either going to a strip club or going bowling.
What is going on, Roman? How about we go bowling?
I can't do it right now, Niko. Maybe later?
We can make arrangement for another time.
So watch what happens mechanically here several hundred times. Something calls Niko's name. He responds, and in responding, he becomes the man who does the thing. That's the same kind of interaction as you and the police officer. Rockstar basically shipped Althusser's central image as an immersion feature. And listen to what those calls actually are, because this is where the ideology grabs onto you. Almost none of them are threats. And keep in mind, I'm saying almost because, it's GTA, someone threatens you. But they're mostly opportunities. This is the big one. This will set you up. It's like, after this opportunity, after this job, you're good and you've made it. That's the ideology doing the hailing. There's no force. There's always just this promise. Each call is the whole ideology in miniature, basically. Do this one hard thing and you move up. Niko, being hungry for a better life, because, who isn't, takes that opportunity. He doesn't move up. The phone rings again. He gives it another chance because he is still hungry. And the reason this lands is that you're doing it too. You're not just watching Niko get hailed. You're pressing the button. You are physically the one who's answering, technically. The game made you complicit in its own central metaphor, and then let people spend 18 years calling the metaphor annoying. But nobody forces Niko. There's no gun. Most of these calls are friendly. Again, most of them. Interpellation doesn't work by force. If it did, it'd be a different kind of machine. The kind with cops and courts and prisons. Liberty City has those too, but the police never technically capture Niko. A phone does. So back to those emails, because now we can actually understand the full scope of what they actually were. They weren't a lie Niko fell for. They were the hail. Somebody shouted the American dream across the Atlantic, and Niko turned around so hard he got on a boat and came to Liberty City, which is Althusser's most disorienting claim. Individuals are always already subjects. Keep in mind that Althusser was very determinist, but according to him, there's no moment before ideology. There's no clean Niko who existed first and got corrupted by Liberty City afterwards. He arrived already inside a story about America. The city just processed the paperwork for him. The city basically acted as a catalyst. And here's the thing I did not expect to find in my research about this video. Niko says this himself out loud pretty early in the game too. So after Roman gives him the standard pitch that like, America is a chance at a new beginning, you needed one, move on, forget the past, you know, all that stuff, Niko tells him straight in the face that there's no such thing as a new beginning. That every day you pick up baggage you carry forever. That you don't get to be fresh and clean just because you got off a fucking boat somewhere new. Because knowing isn't an exit. That's the whole argument. Niko has better theory than anyone around him. He's the one character who sees the machinery clearly. And it buys him nothing, because seeing the hail doesn't stop you from turning around. He'll articulate the trap in one scene and answer the fucking phone in the next one. And every person he meets tells him who he is. They look at a man who wants to start over and they just see a soldier, what he used to be. A useful one, good at violence, needs money, has no papers, has no protection, so he should probably listen. He crossed thousands of miles to become a new man, and every call just confirms the old one. But it doesn't stop there. We now come across Althusser's other big idea, and that idea is why Liberty City is the right city. As I previously talked about it a little bit in the Lorax video, Althusser splits the machinery of social order in two. On one side, we have the repressive apparatus. Police, army, courts, prisons. It works by force. It's public, it's obvious, it's easy to be angry at. The system as we see it, basically. And on the other side, we have ideological apparatuses. It's plural. So schools, family, media, advertising, culture, you know, these things don't necessarily hit you or imprison you or deport you. They just slowly form you and morph you, and they mostly sit in the private sphere, which is exactly why they don't look like power. Althusser argues that no system runs solely on force. Force is expensive and force is visible, and has a very low turnover rate because it's a singular objectified thing that me and you can hate. What a system needs to survive is something that people will reproduce voluntarily. Showing up on Monday, wanting what it needs them to want, and just keeping on this loop. The ideological machinery, basically. The cops are a backup. Now look at what Rockstar built.
Justice is a game, just like the game of chicken. You've got to go full steam ahead and hope the other person runs out of energy or money first.
A news network doing hysterical post 9/11 fear. Talk radio with a raving host. Television including a show about American soldiers in space. In-game internet show. Ads on every fucking surface. Those are the ideological state apparatuses. Playable in 2008. And listen to what all of it broadcasts. Buy this, want this, be this. Look at these people who made it. The dream on a loop in a city where almost nobody is living it. And it's optional. You can drive past all of it. You can turn the radio off, never go on the internet, except for a couple of missions, which is exactly the way they are supposed to be. These apparatuses don't beg for attention. They're ambient. They form you whether or not you're listening. It's more of a subliminal thing. There's also the human version of it too. The ones who voluntarily but unknowingly reproduce this ideology. Brucey screaming about hustle and self-improvement, running on steroids and pure ideology. And Roman, who believes it while it basically costs him everything. The game deliberately fills itself with these optimists who keep failing to talk Niko into optimism. But remember when I said the American dream is a good example? It's actually unusually good at its job. See, most ideologies have a problem. Reality keeps contradicting them. The American dream solves that issue in advance. It's scary. It doesn't just promise you that you can make it. It ships with a built-in explanation for what it means when you don't. And that explanation is, it's on you, pal. You didn't work. You didn't want it enough. You are the one who made bad choices. Somebody with less than you made it, so what's your fucking excuse, pal? Which means failure can't falsify this ideology anymore. Now look at Niko's actual plot with that in mind. Underneath every single thing, the real reason he's in America is revenge. Someone betrayed his unit in the war and got everyone killed. And he spent years hunting that man down. Do you see the pattern? It is the individual explanation for a structural catastrophe. A war happened. A shit ton of people died. And Niko's account of why is that fucking guy ratted our crew out. He's doing with his past exactly what the ideology trains you to do with your present. Find the person responsible. Keep it a story about individuals and choices, because the alternative, that you were positioned by something vast that could have crushed you regardless, gives you nothing to do with your hands. And then he finds him, and the man is nothing. He's a wreck. A strung out ruin who sold out 15 people for some minuscule amount of money.
I can believe it's shown to be shit. Make strange choices.
Fuck you! Strange choices? How much?
1,000.
You kill my friends for $1,000.
Kill him or don't, nothing gets resolved. There's no catharsis here. Because the thing Niko thought was the cause was never the actual cause. He was hunting a person when the problem was a structure, and a structure has no face to put a gun to. Which brings us to the ending. And the thing everyone notices and nobody quite explains. The game gives you a real choice. It gives you two paths. Take the deal or take revenge. And both endings are kinda bad. One takes Roman. The other takes Kate.
You fucking double-crossed an immigrant shit!
There's no version where Niko wins. There's no escaping the shit show. A good ending, where Niko exits the machine intact having beaten it, would be a lie. A lie about how everything works. You can't win because winning requires a move the system doesn't contain. Both endings are the same ending in different clothes, basically. The machine takes something and he keeps going on. And that's the honest answer to the question I opened with. Nobody lied to Niko Bellic. There was nobody standing outside the dream who could have technically lied to him. You know what's funny though? After the credits and the finale, the phone still works. The apparatus does not die. The story ends though. Alright, we're basically done with the game. But there is still something we have to talk about. GTA 4 came out April 29th of 2008. 5 months before the American financial system called it quits and left the chat. A game asking what the American dream means today shipped in the last summer anyone could ask that with a straight face. But that's not the part that gets me. You know how much we love irony in this channel. GTA 4 shipped in April of 2008. The App Store opened July of 2008. Realistically speaking, what got built on top of it over the next decade was an entire economy where work reaches you through a phone. It buzzes, a job appears, you accept, and in accepting, you become the driver, the courier, the shopper, the contractor. And the story bundled with it is the dream, updated. You're not a worker, you're an entrepreneur. Your own boss, you have flexibility, your income reflects your hustle, which means if it isn't enough, that's on you, pal. Same structures, same unfalsifiable promise, same conversion of a position into a personal failing. And you can know every word of that. You can be completely cynical about all of it, but you'll still pick up the phone. That's what Althusser's point is. It was never about being fooled. The phone rings and you answer because what other choice do you have? So why did the American dream lie to Niko Bellic? Realistically speaking, it didn't. That question assumes that a liar existed, and There was never a liar to begin with. There was a cousin who wrote him some emails, admitted they were invented, and kept believing anyway. There was a city broadcasting a promise. And there was a man who understood all of it, who said out loud that you can't get off a boat and be clean, and answered every single time it rang. What does the American dream mean today? It means your phone rings and you answer. I'm Amar Reza, and this has been an analysis of GTA 4. Thank you.